What's up, my Rubies, and welcome back to the technical guide to Minecraft. Today, we're going to take down the Ender Dragon, but before we do that, we got to make sure that we're prepared. And by make sure we're prepared, we're going to over-prepare like hell. So let's do this! So in the previous episode, I didn't go into depth on how I managed to roll for Silk Touch. Now, villagers, or specifically librarian villagers, are very unique in that when you put down a lectern, which is their workstation. By the way, it's going to be a different video on what villagers can do based on their workstations, and I'll go into detail as to what goes with what. Today, we're going to talk about librarians. Librarians are unique in that whenever you put down a lectern, they have a chance to put down a certain enchantment book. Now, it's entirely random, or at least I don't know if there is a pattern to it, but if you pick it up and put it back down, you can essentially control what the first enchantment book will be. So right now we're going to try to go for Fortune 3 because that is one enchantment that I do not have yet and I really do want. As you can tell, the process does take a long time, so buckle up, champ. This is going to take quite a bit. This is all RNG, so it's not a guarantee that's going to come quickly. Sometimes you get it on the first roll, sometimes you get it on the second roll, sometimes you get it on the 1000th roll. But the point of it is that you are in one way or another in control of what book you can have. And by doing so, you can actually have an entire library of the different kinds of trades that a librarian can do, including curses, if you're into that. And I'm going to actually get that just for the sake of the video. Typically, I don't really go for the curses books, but for the sake of completing the entire library catalog, we're going to make sure to get every single enchantment book a villager can get. Why? Well, easy. Because we can. So let's just keep rolling. Power 5. Fine. And this will actually be a good way to show what'll happen if the cost of the book is what you think is too much. Because we're going to reduce the prices down to just 1 emerald as well. It's going to be the one and only time we're going to buy the Power 5 for 40. And with that, before we continue, let's make sure that we label this as Power 5. Mostly because I am setting up this entire library. All because I've already started to actually sort this out in alphabetical order. So Power 5 is going to be enchantment number 25. And if you're wondering how I know that, I actually have a Google spreadsheet that I'm going to actually put down in the description of this video so that you can keep track of the different items should you want to have something like this in your world. And so we're back up here. Let's go to our librarian villager, and since his trades are now locked in, we don't have to worry about the librarian losing the trade because we've already traded one, so now the trade is now locked in. Let's go in here. We're gonna get hit a little bit, but it'll be worth it. Oh, and now he's a villager again. So like before, I've already showed how to cure a villager before. Under normal circumstances, yeah, 1 would be enough, but we're trying to get the lowest possible price for the enchantment. So tap him once and you heal him. As you can see, the Power 5 is still not 1. So what we can do with this, bring him back over in here, have him be zombified one more time. Okay, now he's hit. And once again, you can see that that the villager still retains the librarian status. But if you heal him again, and now you can see that the Power 5 book has now been reduced to 1. Capitalism. Am I right? So we're gonna go bring this down. So we're gonna put this villager into their respective spots. And the way I designed the villager chasm is that you can just fall level by level. That should be the power right over there. Just carefully. Oh. Sorry, villager, don't die on me. You are a very expensive investment. And then we're gonna quickly go down and then move back. Let's get our lectern in place. Leave this. And what we want to do is put this down and then look at the villager. When the villager has glow sparkles that comes out of him, that means it'll recognize its workstation as its own and will pathfind or at least work on top of the workstation. Because villagers can work on top of their workstation. Yeah, like they work with their feet, I guess. I don't know. So we're going to put it down, look at the villager. You can see green sparkles indicating that it does recognize that as its workstation. Knock this off and it'll immediately start pathfinding on top of his workstation. Push him in a little bit, cover with carpet, and there you go. Now they are a Power 5 librarian that we can have and use at any moment, and it's quite fantastic. So we're going to do that for the rest of this library. Again, not really necessary to fight the End Dragon with, but I figure since I'm doing this, I might also do the rest of them. And don't worry, you're not going to have to watch the entire thing. So, let's go. Okay, and with this last book, The Bane of Arthropods, or rather, The Bane of My Existence, we have done it. We have effectively finished our entire library. Let's just put this last villager in. Don't die on me. There you go. You like what you see? Go and come on. Don't be like this. You're the last one. Don't be a pain. Just get in. Get in. Get in. Villager, get in. Villager. Why are you being a? I know you want to get in. I know you want it. You want to be a Kiku Core intern. There you go. And with that, we have the entire library of villagers for every enchantment book at its max level. Now, there are different levels, and obviously there are Unbreaking 1, 2, and 3, but honestly, I only use like the max levels anyway, and I'm sure things like Frostwalker are better optimized for like Frostwalker 1, but like, honestly, I'm not going to be doing that, so that's a moot point. But yeah, max level of every type of villager enchantment books you can get. The only enchantment book that we do not have so far is Soul Speed, but there's no point in me making a bartering chamber until I make a gold farm. I can't make a gold farm until I get shulker boxes, and henceforth, this is why we're also fighting the End Dragon. So yeah, we're here. Now that we've got everything squared away, let's go shopping. Okay, so with the bow, I'm gonna need some power. Let's just go down the list real quick. Infinity, definitely want infinity. No one man should have all that power. Punch, oh, unbreak, flame. And with that, we have our bow. Oh, and just in time, because that just broke on me. Okay, we are going to look for some bees. Ooh, nice. There's a beehive right there. I want to try to get at least 3 before we head back. In actuality, I only really need 1, but starting off with more than less, I mean, come on now. Let's optimize. Okay, so right now we are just waiting for the day to kind of be at its endpoint, and then we're going to collect all the bees. Wow, that was fast. Total bee location? Total bee location means that you have just harvested a beehive that has all the possible bees in it, which is 3. All right, we gotta move and start collecting these before mobs start spawning in. Let's set up a quick bee farm, and hopefully my replay mod won't like just crash on me like it did for the wool farm. So right in front of us, you'll notice that I tilled the land right over here, and that because it gives us a small gap in which I could breed bees. It's a simple but very effective technique for early bee farms. And with that, we've created a basic honey farm. Using the same clock as the wool farm, we have, instead of using comparator, actually just ran a repeater loop that unpowers his torch, which then causes this whole thing to go same thing as the wool farm over here. It just looks kind of different. So the basic gist is this: because azalea leaves count as a flower, whenever the bee goes on top of the block itself, since the block registers as both a block and a flower, the bees are able to pollinate it, which means that they can actually increase the honey level of their respective bee nest or beehive. And how this works, it's basically whenever the redstone power is on, it'll actually launch a glass bottle into a dispenser. The dispenser will then collect any honey that's in here and then send it through the loop. Now, if there's no honey in it, it'll actually just move the glass bottle to the next one. And then when this gets powered, the empty glass bottle gets up, gets shot through the dispenser. If this has honey, then it'll collect it and it'll go through the system. Now, in the event that it does have honey, what'll happen is when this gets powered, the honey bottle will get sent through the system and get sent to the next dropper. And when this gets powered, the honey bottle will then get sent to the next one and to the next one until finally it comes to this area. Now, this is a slightly modified auto filter system. The basics are the same, but I kind of wanted to make it more compact this way to not like go overly to the left, and I've made it so that you can actually see it, but you don't really need a glass thing and you don't need to make the auto filter system as complex as this. I just did it mostly for aesthetics and to preserve this part of the lake. But yeah, the honey bottles will then get collected over here. When this reaches 5, this will send a signal down to the repeaters, which will then unlock the system and send the honey bottles into here. Now, because the filter system only will collect honey bottles, the empty bottles will continue to go through this entire system. Thus, you don't actually have any loss when it comes to honey bottles. You don't have to keep grabbing the empty glass bottles and putting in the system manually, since the system will always continue to cycle the glass bottles until it finds a honey bottle, in which case it'll get sent over here, and you know the drill. Even though there are some limitations to this, like you can't fit more glass bottles into like a hopper that feeds into the system, because the system will get overloaded. The fact that it's lossless and it basically runs itself is pretty good for a beginner kind of bee farm. And as you saw, we have enough to actually start creating some honey blocks, which will be needed for when we go attack the end. And we're just gonna let the system run for a little bit. Let's just check how many glass bottles are left. And the great thing about the system, it doesn't particularly matter where you place the honey bottles themselves, because it'll just get fed through the system eventually. And so one way or another, this whole thing will get collected, and eventually all the glass bottles from this initial dropper will eventually turn into honey bottles. So if we just look around here real quick, so right here you could see that a honey bottle has just been gotten, and once this activates, the honey bottle now is in transit over. So the once this gets pushed over, it'll get sent to the next one, and it'll keep rotating until it finally hits its end destination of right over here. All the meanwhile, the glass bottles will just continue to rotate over and over again until the entire system is done. It's particularly satisfying when you create a lossless farm that you really don't ever have to touch other than to refill it with stuff that it needs. In this case, glass bottles. Quite phenomenal. Okay, and with all these honey bottles, we could turn into honey blocks, which will be incredibly useful for the plan we're about to do. And for those who are already in the know, that is correct. I'm going to teach you all the basics of flying machines. I have traded with a lot of wandering traders over my time, and thankfully, one of them actually sold me slime balls. So with the slime balls, we've created sticky pistons, where these sticky pistons are going to be important in order for this flying machine to work. So we're going to do a quick rundown of what observers do. So what observers do is that whenever it detects a block change, whether it be a solid block like cobblestone or even an air block that you can't see, it will send a signal over to whatever is behind it. Now in this case, it's going to be a cobblestone. But the thing is that an observer doesn't do one entire tick. In fact, it does a 0 tick. What a 0 tick is that it'll be so fast the piston will either push something forward or pull something back. So let's change the block in front of it. Boom. So fast that it only pushed it forward. But when we change the block in front of the observer, it'll send us 0 tick and it'll pull the thing back. Make the observer activate the piston so that it pushes and then pulls itself. This is how basically the flying machine works. Now you might be wondering, why are we learning the basics to a flying machine? I don't like fighting the end dragon without an elytra. And so in order to circumvent the problem of not being able to go across the entire end void without putting thousands of blocks down, we're just gonna make a flying machine and just fly our butts over. Could be dangerous. It could be, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I've done this like at least once. Okay, and with that, we've created a basic lava farm. We're going to need lava in order to create as much obsidian as possible. And when we have a renewable source of lava, that's pretty much it. We can make as many as we possibly could ever dream of. How this works is that above this netherrack is a source lava block. The source lava block will then drip down to this point of dripstone, and then we'll fill up these cauldrons over time. So over here we have the bee farm, you have the lava farm, and well, now we're going to start jumping tech like crazy. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I just realized I don't need to actually hunt endermen. I can just use villagers to get ender pearls. Okay, we've looted the entirety of the bastion. Unfortunately, we could not find Pigsep, but we found some ancient debris, some netherite scrap, blocks of gold, blocks of iron, and the one that I was at least hoping to find is Soul Speed 2. This looks going to be so worth it. With Soul Speed 2, we're going to be able to move so fast thanks to the future proofing that I did a couple episodes back, if you recall. And with this, we can make an ender chest. An ender chest, quite simply, It's an interdimensional pocket dimension, kind of. Basically, it's a chest that you could access anywhere in the world as long as it's an ender chest. The only downside is, in order to pick it back up, you need Silk Touch, but we've already gotten that thanks to our villager chasm, so that's not an issue. So I'll show you an example. Let's put down the ender chest right here. Let's load up soul speed here. Now let's go over here, place down the ender chest, and look, soul speed is now in this one as well. In fact, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have an ender chest, it basically becomes a safe place for you to store anything in the world. For those playing on SMPs, this also acts as your own personal safe. Only you can access your ender chest, which makes as the only real secure place you could ever have when it comes to SMPs. Survival multiplayers, rather. Alright, let's put soul speed onto our boots. 15, a little pricey, but gonna be totally worth it. For the sake of reference, we're gonna run around without soul speed boots on, just so you can see how fast we're really gonna go. 2, 1, go. 5 seconds of fast, 10 seconds of fast, nearing the finish line, and we're here. So 16 seconds, we'll round down and go. Oh, I accidentally clipped myself, but that doesn't matter. Look how fast we're going, and we're done. Even faster than that, even if we got clipped, soul speed will make going to different places in the villager chasm and in the future much faster. And this is what I mean by future proof, because we don't want to spend that much time here. As much as I love villagers, we just want to get our stuff done and go. And with these boots, we're gonna go fly it. Plus, it's also fun just running around when you go this fast. And this is only soul speed 2. The max level for soul speed is soul speed 3. And this is only with soul speed 2. Imagine how fast we're gonna go with soul speed 3. Okay, now that we got all the clerics in their respective places, I'll show you that these are going to be one of the most valuable villagers that we could ever have to trade with. But first, we need to go into our emerald stores. Let's run back real quick with our soul speed and then start trading these. Okay, with all that redstone, let's just turn them into blocks just so we can save up space. And with this, we could also get lapis lazuli or lazuli or however you pronounce it. So you don't even have to mine for lapis anymore. The redstone and lapis off the table. Now for some people, mining is the therapeutic part of Minecraft. It's the thing that they have fun with. I hate it. So usually I try to get my villager up as fast as possible. And now look, they're now trading glowstone, which means redstone lamps become very easy to do. And even if you don't want that, you don't even need to make jack-lanterns anymore, because glowstone gives the same amount of light as jack-lanterns. Maximum light of 15, meaning that we have a light source that we could easily grab that's as simple to use as jack-lanterns. Now the unfortunate part is not every cleric is going to have the ender pearl trade, but there is enough that we will be fine. So out of the 21 clerics, only about 5 of them did not have the ender pearl trade, meaning we have a full set of ender pearls. We don't even need a crude enderman farm. We already have ender pearls. And look, 52 levels, that's incredible. Let's load up our ender chest with all the materials that we need. We're gonna use logs that we could craft into planks that we could then craft into slabs to maximize the amount of building material we can if we need to bridge across the void. Because if you die in the void, you die and lose all your stuff. Now before we go, I'm gonna need to prepare one specific book. So the reason why we're getting an unbreaking mending book and an anvil is that when we go over the edge, when we go over the end and into the over across the void, we want to immediately and as soon as possible enchant the elytra, because you want to minimize the amount of damage the elytra will take when we fly with it. And now you're probably thinking, how in the world are we going to be able to do this without any rockets? You don't have any gunpowder, so how are you going to use rockets? Well, that's simple. We make a farm. Duh. Okay, so after all of that, let's see how much gunpowder we got. 49, which admittedly is not a lot, but granted, this is a basic creeper farm for our starter set of gunpowder. So 49 is gonna be enough for us. Not a lot, I will admit, but it'll be enough to get back to the end center and fight the dragon. If you look at the top right, the targeted block says 124. We're looking for one that says get above the nether roof, which I'll show you how to do it with an ender pearl. I've shown you how to do it with a boat before, but we're going to do it with an ender pearl this time because it's just so much easier. So let's climb up. And what you want to do, if you look at this corner, that corner right here, you want to aim for that. You're going to throw the ender pearl, and then you're just going to hit jump. So throw ender pearl. Oh. and jump. So where you jump from, just place a slab wherever you jump from, just so we can make note when we break bedrock, we could easily just go back into the nether actual. Now the reason why we set up the nether portal in the overworld like we did before is because we're not up to that point yet where we can justify having a nether portal that goes straight into another roof. And so having that kind of distinction between the two is actually will play in our favor later on, because we'll be able to access another roof without having to have a portal dedicated to it. We have two separate portals, one going to the roof, one going to the nether actual. Since it has a bastion and another fortress, it's in our advantage to make sure that we have access to another actual instead of just another roof. Another actual being, you know, like down there, like down there. And with that, if everything is lined up, we should pop up on top of our elevator. And yes, we in fact did. There you go, and that's how you link up nether portals. And we just go down, slowed down by that single block of water, and we're good to go. And with this, we'll be able to access nether actual and nether roof. And if we want to go venture out, let's say a stronghold, we can instantly just make another portal on that side, go to the ceiling, another portal on that side, come back over here, set up the nether portal on the roof, and we'll be good to go. That way, we don't have to deal with the real nether. We'll just teleport directly to where we need to go. So a good trick to do whenever you have an Eye of Ender, whatever direction it goes, you could probably follow that for about... Oh, geez, that broke. That was supposed to be an example. Okay, you could probably follow that for about 500 to 1,000 blocks. Be pretty safe, and then every now and then, just throw another one. But we'll just kind of gauge it. Oh. Might be at a stronghold already. It's so close to our base. Yo. We're in, boys. I forgot all my torches. Once we go through this will be the start of my game. For some people, it's end game, but for me, this is where the game really begins. And with that, we have ignited the nether portal. So we're gonna go to the other side, climb up, and do the exact same thing as we did before. Go to the nether roof, and then we'll be fully connected. Oh, I can't wait. Done this right, we should be right in front of the stronghold. It worked. All right, this is it. We're so close. Hey, so here's the thing. This is a post-dragon fight scene Kigu. I would love to show you the fight I had with the dragon, but my editing software crashed and I didn't get any of the footage. Yeah, but luckily I have some of the footage off of my replay mod that I'll just like go over what exactly happened, because it wasn't really a smooth operation. A lot of things went wrong. But first, before I show you that, let's take a look at what I got. As you can see, I have Kigu's jetpack. I didn't end up going to an end city. That, unfortunately, which I'm going to use to, like, retell the entire and retell you the story of what happened to me in the end. Let's put this on, and let's go back to where it all started. So over here, you'll notice that where the end portal took us was over the edge of the void, which was a huge problem, because when we're out in the open, that meant the end dragon was able to shoot fireballs at us, which was not ideal in the slightest. So I had to quickly think of a solution at that point. I threw an ender pearl over here and collected as endstone as quickly as possible, because there wasn't enough time for me to actually get the logs from my ender chest. Dug out what I could, and then just placed them in here. And from there, in this spot, I started creating a flying machine. I don't know why I set it this way. I think it was because I felt that if I started building it this way, that I would get shot by the ender dragon more, which ended up not mattering because it shot me anyway, even though there was a wall here. And so eventually I did launch myself towards the end over there. And we're just gonna fly over the edge just so you could see where I ended up. So after about 1,000 blocks, you can see where my flying machine ended up in. And then from here, I just mined my way up, and unfortunately this is where my replay mod actually stopped. For one reason or another, I stopped recording my replay mod because I was assuming that my recording software would take it, but alas, that wasn't the case. And so I went up and I started just looking around, and then eventually I got my first bridging operation, and from here I was showing that if you were to bring logs, you can then break it down to planks, because one log is 4 planks, and with 3 planks you could make 6 slabs. And so the most efficient way and most optimized way to conserve resources is to actually come up with logs. And so I wanted to show that here. Unfortunately I couldn't show you in real time, but as you can see I did bridge through with slabs, and then from here I immediately noticed that there was an end city right over here with a flying ship, which honestly blew my mind. Like, I didn't actually think I was gonna get it that quickly. But here's the thing, I was here wondering to myself, because I wanted to get some shulker boxes because I needed enough in order to do some certain projects later on. But I was also debating whether or not I wanted to do that because I wanted to create a shulker farm later. And so I made a compromise with myself that I'll get 3 shulker boxes and leave the low-hanging fruit or the low-hanging shulkers at the bottom alone. So I literally ran past them and only end busted up until I think building right over there on the other side. I only wanted enough just to get just like 3 shulker boxes. And so if you look over here, you'll notice that there are some shulkers over there. They already replicated because they hit themselves, which I think is very useful. After I got enough shulker boxes, I went over here and just started pulling up straight up to the flying ship, where I grabbed the head. Oh, I didn't actually grab this. That's nice. Grabbed the head and grabbed the first elytra, and yeah, opened up my ender chest, grabbed the rockets, and then grabbed the end dragon head and made my way back to the end city. Now you might be wondering, why didn't I kill all the shulkers? It is going to be a pain that I'm not going to have as many shulker boxes as I wanted, but honestly, I'm going to have all the shulker boxes I will ever need come the next episode where I start making the shulker farm. Spoiler alert. As far as getting the dragon egg go, it's pretty easy. I'll show you real quick and I'll demonstrate how one can do this quite easily. Let's just set this back up. I know, crazy, someone's putting the dragon egg down. Okay, so let's say the dragon egg is right there and you just want to grab it for your own thing. Because I was using a flying machine, I only had sticky pistons and observers. So I didn't have any levers, didn't have any of that, but that's fine because observers, as we demonstrated before, can activate pistons. So what one basically has to do is just go up real quick, place a piston down, and then from here, have the observer face that block over here. And then as soon as you knock this down, boom, activates, dragon egg breaks, you collect it, and there you go. You also achieve the next generation. Okay, so you activate the next generation thing, and that's how you get the achievement for it. And that's how I got the dragon egg. I wish I could show you the footage. I really do. It really depresses me that I can't show you, but it's fine. In the end of the day, and even though this is like one of the longest episodes that I've made so far, I'm glad that we finally did. Well, my roomies, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. Subscribe to see what's in store for next time. And until then, I've been your number one, your most humble host, Kirumi. Bye-bye.